Sometimes I just sit and think to myself, like, I really came a long way, and I don't always acknowledge that. I think we move on to the next thing and the next thing, and oftentimes we don't just stop to reflect and take in the beauty. Like, first of all, the Bay Area is so beautiful. You see the city over there? I don't know if you can see because the fog and the ocean, the birds flying free. Essentially, that's how I want to be. Like, I don't know if you know Floetry. If I was a bird, I'd fly away. I spread my wings so I can say. Yeah, it just, life is really a journey, to say it in the simplest ways. And I know that everybody can relate to that, of having a lot of obstacles happen in your life. No matter how big or small, we all live and lead different lives, but it wouldn't be life if there weren't obstacles, right? There's a plane flying by right now if it's loud. But if things are handed to you and so easy, and even the wealthiest of the wealthiest, I'm sure they still face problems, just those of different kinds and calibers, right? But it definitely is a journey, even just in the way that we age and we grow. I was reflecting a long time ago of, it's so funny, as children, you know, we celebrate a baby's first steps and their first words and all these milestones. But as that child gets older, we start to celebrate them less and less. Things become normalized. We start looking at it as, okay, that it just is what it is, right? And I think this is different for everybody. It depends on your family, it depends. But I know as we tend to get older and those around us stop celebrating us, we can tend to stop celebrating ourselves too, and just see it as, all right, check off the list, what's the next thing I gotta do, you know? I know specifically as a Black woman, I was always told, and it's true, that I have to work 10 times harder than my counterparts to get half as much, you know what I mean? So we have so many odds and things placed against us, because a lot of things systematically were not designed and intended for Black people to thrive. And so with that being said, I think that there's so much power in taking your power back. And I think that begins with a true discovery of self, learning who you are through and through, in and out. A lot of people want to look at the good qualities in them, and then, you know, we take what we hear from other people. When other people start giving us qualities, we take it on, right? If someone tells you you're fat, you're gonna have this ideology and self-concept around the fact of, oh, I'm fat. If someone tells you you're funny, especially as we grow up and go on this journey of life, we start to build self-schemas and self-concepts and ideologies about ourselves based on what others around us tell us as we grow. But if you as an adult learn yourself and say, okay, realistically, these are my strengths. I know what I bring to the table, right? Not in a narcissistic, cocky way, but truly looking at what your strengths are, but also your weaknesses. What are my weaknesses? And beyond just what your insecurities are, we all have insecurities. Beyond what you don't like, and even when you know what those insecurities are, looking in the mirror or looking at those personality flaws, whatever it may be, and embracing them, saying, I love you, self, just as you are. I love you with, you know, that cricket smile or whatever it is that your insecurity is, or what that you're insecure about. But back to identifying your strengths and weaknesses, I think once you already know what you're working on and you know where your weaknesses are at, no one can tell you about yourself that you don't already know. I think people get offended when they get negative feedback or criticism from others because it bruises their ego. It alters and it puts a dent in that perfectly constructed view that one person has of themselves, and we all deal with that differently. And yeah, some people say things and it's just hate or it's projection. The way that they feel about themselves, they'll project onto you, and it has nothing to do with you, right? The way that others treat you is a reflection of themselves, their current life state, and where they're at. But we all are mirrors of each other to a sense. And I hope you're still following and I'm not losing you and going too off with it. But if you understand, you understand. And if you don't, drop something in the comments and I'll explain further. But I'll try to keep it more surface level. But I think that to be able to fully look at yourself and know who you are, also where you come from, you know, the people that you come from, and where you're headed, and where you believe you can head. So the thing trending, everyone's like, oh, be Delulu, be Delulu, be Delulu. That woman from New York who went to Pakistan and all this, right? And people were saying her mental health, yeah, but now she's back. And she did an interview I saw in the Shade Room, you know, bust down. You know, she got her nice clothes, her glasses on. She looks well put together. Someone in the comments was saying, oh, she definitely got that money she was asking for in the land, you know. But my point of bringing her up is people love to criticize or shame or make fun of people. Like even when Kanye, definitely don't agree with everything he said, a lot of things he said. But when I watched his documentary of the way that his mother spoke life into him, he believes in himself so much to even have people walking around recording him for a documentary, because he just knew he was going to be a celebrity. He knew he was going to make it before anybody else could. And there were, I'm sure, a lot of people who doubted him, like even how he said he was a producer. And he's like, yeah, but I do music too. And like people wasn't really trying to hear it. And then look at him now, you know, especially College Dropout, like his old music really hits. But it takes a level of delulu, as you know, people love to say now, because a lot of the difference between people who make it and people who don't is just the determination to never give up on their dreams and continue to believe in themselves. People will give up. They'll let someone get in their ear and discourage them, or they'll count themselves out. And then in the same time of counting themselves out, will talk, crap, I guess I could say for YouTube, about the next person, because really they don't even have the courage to do it. It takes courage to put yourself out there. It takes courage to follow your dreams. It takes courage to go against the grain and to do something that you love in a world that teaches us to be robots and work 9 to 5 and be in a rat race, right? It takes courage to do something different. It takes time, it takes discipline, it takes energy, it takes effort, and it takes believing in yourself. So if anything, I hope this message today encourages you to believe in yourself. You are capable of accomplishing your dreams, and whatever you put your mind to, it's having the determination to never give up. There's so many stories of people who are now famous, you know, influencers who posted for 2-3 years, no views. The 3rd year it hit. Or even musicians, right? They have songs. If you look at when songs were actually like released, and then that's not even including when songs were written and then finally recorded, when they actually hit and like start trending, getting popular on the radio, it's a significant time. So it's like staying true to your intentions, your dreams, your goals, and being patient and allowing them to manifest or bloom, but not giving up. Yeah, you know, I think this doesn't, it's not to say, you know, I was talking to someone and they were saying, what about, you know, the kids that are told, work hard, get good grades, and, you know, you could be famous and, you know, rich and all these things, and then it doesn't happen, and how that affects a person's outlook on life, and how, yeah, like, it's not everybody's path, right? Or how some people go to college and aren't as successful as some college dropouts, you know, especially in the tech world, who are like billionaires now. So I don't know if you want to look at it as the luck of the draw, but I do believe that with hard work you can achieve your goals and get a step closer than someone who just gives up. And I also want to hold grace and like space for things can happen that cause you to give up. You know, I'm so appreciative for all the mothers out there who have put their children's life first and had to put their dreams on the back end for the sake of raising their kids. You know, that's something that doesn't get acknowledged and talked about a lot. I think too, like when you meet a partner and you get married or get in a relationship, if that person has dreams of moving to another part of the world, I've heard many times of people sacrificing their own dreams to allow their partner to chase their dreams and following them. That normally ends up being resentment built, but we all have the freedom of choice of whether or not we're going to prioritize ourselves and our dreams or someone else's, or let a big business or corporation determine our dreams for us and we live out their dreams making money for them. So I don't know, I know we have to do these things as a means to provide, right? You got bills to pay. You got to eat. You got to have money for groceries, right? So there's things we have to do to maintain and survive. But I hope this is just food for thought. And I hope it's encouraging, because there were times where I didn't know if life or things would get better, or how life could look any different from how it looked at that point. And there were many times where I was low. I've definitely been low before. The camera cut out right there, so I had to just cut it there. But I hope this video inspired and encouraged you to follow your dreams, chase your dreams, don't give up on yourself. I hope it sparked food for thought. Drop down in the comments some thoughts you have. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation about these things, because we've all been through things. They just look different from each other. So whether you want to use the comment section as a space to release some things you've been through, or on a positive note, share some dreams that you have, whether you're actively following them or not, or have plans or want to, let's have it be a safe space for people to share what some of their dreams were. Do you remember what you said, no matter how old you are, what you wanted to be as a child? What did you want to be when you grew up? What are some of the goals and dreams you have for your children to be when they grow up, for your brothers and sisters to be when they grow up, for your cousins? What are some of your goals and dreams? Drop them down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Much love, much love. Comment, like, subscribe. And my second book, 27 Years of Life, is coming out April 27th. Make sure to check it out and buy it.